Hi, my name's Dawn and today I'm going to show you how I come about making these by using only items from my home. So the first thing I did was, because I didn't have any paint, so I thought, right, well I've got some food colouring, and the first thing I was going to do is to make some paint out of food colouring. So what you do is you get your food colouring and you need a good squirt of it, so you get quite a good pigment. And then you add a tiny bit of water and some flour. And you can, depending on what consistency you want, you add more or less flour, as much as you. For this project, you probably need it quite thick because we're going to be using some of the pictures going to be printed on from items that we've got in our home. Okay, so that's the brown colour there. Now, I've also made up some food colouring and water, which is in a little spray bottle, which is great. And you can find old spray bottles, what your parents are not using anymore, or wherever really. And so this one, I'm going to start with the background. So I've got an old sticker that I found. You can use anything as a mask. So the first thing is I'm going to do the background for our picture. Okay, so we're going to do the background and with our sticker as a mask, and we're going to spray, because I want some like a cloud effect. So this is just food colouring and water, which I think is actually quite nice. It gives it a sort of watercolour effect. I've actually marked down the paper because I find it gives it a bit of a border, and also when it's wet it will bubble. Now when it's dry, what will happen is, I've just realised I didn't mask down that side, what will happen is it should dry flat. So this is just like masking tape, and you use that just to mask down the picture and the paper. The next step is we're going to get some bubble wrap. You can use anything. I mean, I've got lots of different things here. Corrugated paper, I found a feather this morning in my garden, some sponge, and I've also got some pieces of vegetable. So anything and these are offcuts that I cut up yesterday for a soup. Some foil, okay, a little bit of broccoli, and brushes. So what we do is, now we can either put the paint that we have onto a tray that I have and then print from there, or you can literally paint straight on to the item that you're using. So in this case you can use paint, you can use emulsion paint, acrylic paint, anything you want, but if you want to start with the food colouring, it's a good idea also as well. It means that because I'm using rolling pins, it means you won't get poisoned. So my first thing is going to just put this down and make hopefully a textured background. And you're building it up, so you're adding different layers. And I'm going to want some, I think I'm going to go for sort of like a bluey brown. So you can mix up these paints if you want. So I'm going to put this down on my tray. This is just an old white tray that I've got. Experiment with the textures, which is always a good idea. Just find out what works and what doesn't. And here, I'm doing my garden. This is my garden. So at the back of my garden is a sort of browny coloured, it's actually bluey brown fence. So this is the effect I'm going for. So there's our textured fence. So now I want some grass. Also, I've got some cans here for things like water or holding brushes. It's always quite handy. Again, from the home. So this is a nice green colour. Actually, with this, I'll paint straight onto it. I just realised it's better to paint straight on. So these are just elastic bands. They're old hair bands that you can wrap around the rolling pin. You can use string, wire. I suppose you have a look around, see what you can find. And the idea is that you roll it on to get this sort of effect. You can change it around. And then you get sort of like a nice grass effect. And then for our flowers, let me put the pink down there. We're going to add, say, these broccolis are lovely because you can just get that really nice. I've got some alums in my garden which were beautiful. I've actually, you just dab your bits everywhere. Anywhere you want. And this is quite nice. Some nice red I put down there. Doesn't matter if it mixes up, it's actually quite nice if it mixes about. And these are supposed to represent roses, we'll see. Don't worry if it doesn't come out as how you want it. That's the nice thing about it. It's quite random, but it is a really nice effect. And you can always add to it afterwards with felt tip pens. I mean, I added, for that picture there, I added a little bit of makeup to get that sparkly effect. And I added it to the food colouring to make that effect. So there you go, so you've got that. And mess around with it a bit, just to get that effect. If you've got some old paper or some newsprint, it's nice to sometimes just go over it a bit, just to get so nice flat, so you get more of a smudgy effect. It's almost like a watercolour really. And you can go back with your bottles. This is an orange spray, so that's quite pretty. And this one's the blue one, so you can go back on that if you want. And if you really want to, you can go back with a paintbrush. And I did actually try to make some birds earlier. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but we'll try again. Get some the black food colouring. It's quite nice. We'll see if this works. If it doesn't matter. Yeah, not amazing, but it's something. And then you can go back with your paintbrush again, or you can go back to the same bits again, just to see if you want to fill them in a bit more. Or go back on with another colour. And I'm actually a bit cheeky and going back with a paintbrush to get that effect. And this is a bit of emulsion actually, so this you'll get probably a sort of stronger effect. So if you do use emulsion paints or other paints, you get that, makes it sort of think that's about it really. Maybe a bit of blue in the back there, just to get that darker effect at the back. And as I said, when it's dried, you can go over with a felt tip pen, you can go over with other items, you can really build it up as I did here. And actually I worked into this one. I got a paintbrush and actually had got at the other end and just worked through, and then went over with some of the food colouring again to get that effect. And this one I just went to town on. Just, you can do some splatters if you feel like splattering a bit. And then you let that dry, and once that's dry it should go nice and flat, and then when it's really dry then you can take off your tape. So there it is, a picture, mixed media really I suppose, well not mixed media I suppose, mixed printing and painting with food colouring.